Hey, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, thank you so much for checking me out. Today, I wanted to go over something a little bit different and start delving into the modes. Today, I wanted to cover the Dorian mode, which is the second mode of our major scale, but we'll go over more of that into the lesson. I promise I won't make this too much of a theory-intensive lesson. We will have to go over some terms and just basic vocabulary. But without further ado, let's get into the lesson. First off, why would you use a mode? What is a mode, and why do we use them? First off, a mode is just a set of notes, a scale, and it just derives from the major scale, basically. So we're taking the same notes of the major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is our octave. In this example, I'm playing it out of G major. So the notes of G major are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then we're back home at G. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G. Okay, so let's say we took that G major scale, but instead of playing it from G to G, we start on the second note of that G major scale, which is an A. So if we now go from A to A using the notes of the G major scale, well, that is the sound of A Dorian. So one more time. So we're taking the notes of G major, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, but we're starting it on the second note. So G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and then we end on A because we start on A. So that's what a mode is. It's the notes of the major scale basically started from a different point, ending on a certain point, recentering the focal point of the harmonic center of the key. Okay, so on to the next question. Why would I use a mode? Okay, so normally guitarists, we think very pentatonic, we think very diatonic, which is just the center of any key. So the key of G major, I'm gonna go, let's say to A minor, which is my 2 chord. You don't have to get too caught up in this, You don't have to get too caught up in this, but for those of you that are maybe a little more further along here, this will help you understand. If you're just new to these concepts, I'm just familiarizing you with them. Don't worry about it. So we have an A minor. Normally, if we have a progression in A minor, if it's going from like our 1 chord to our 4 chord, both chords are going to be minor. So we have A minor. If I go to my 4 chord, I'm going to go to D minor. Diatonically speaking, that's how one would do it. But let's say, I don't know any theory, I don't know what I'm doing. And even if you do know theory, obviously you can do this. But you have a minor chord, that's your root, that's kind of your home center of your song. Now I have a D major, or a D7, which has a major third in it. So our first chord, A minor, has a minor third in it. And now our 4 chord has this major third in it, which is not in our original key of A minor. So if we're thinking pentatonic, A minor pentatonic here we check it out if you don't know this position. The Dorian scale will be derived from this. This is how I'm gonna mutate this shape. So starting off, our original shape looks like this. 5th fret, A note, 8th fret, same string, low E, 5, 7 on the A, 5, 7 on the D, 5, 7 on the G, 5, 8 on the B, 5, 8 on the high E, and then obviously same thing in reverse. That's our A minor pentatonic. But nowhere in there go to our 4 chord, which is a D7 chord, like I said, 5th fret low E string, 7th fret D string, still barring, going 5th fret G string, pinky is grabbing the 7th fret B string, and then our bar continues down to the 5th fret high E string. So that's our D7 chord. So nowhere in our A minor pentatonic shape does that note exist. So that's where your modes come in. So now you can take a minor 1 chord and a major 4 chord, and this would be perfect application for a Dorian scale. Because, so now we're going to get into the intervals. So for this vocabulary lesson, intervals is the distance between any 2 notes, especially coming from the root. So our Dorian mode recipe, so a normal major scale, the recipe is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Or whole, half, whole, half. So whole, half, whole, half. Okay? If you don't know that, don't worry too much about it. But we have a major second, major third, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7, 8 our octave. This is the major scale. Everything derives from this shape. So major second, major third, 4th and 5th are perfect, which means they stay the same if they're major or minor. Major 6, major 7, octave. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, so when we're doing our Dorian, our recipe is now this. Root, whole step up to a major second, half step up to a minor third, whole step up to a D note, whole step up to E, whole step up to F sharp, half step to A, whole step to A, back home. So this basically has all the notes necessary for a minor chord. It still has a root, a minor third, and a 5th. So just those 3 notes make a minor chord. So there's your A minor. That works great. That's all over your A minor pentatonic. Spells out an A minor chord, an A minor 7 specifically. So how we make this the Dorian scale is we add what would be a major 9, minor third stays, 4th, 5th stay the same. Now we have a major 6 in our A minor. We keep a minor 7, which still works great with the pentatonic, and then we have our root. So really the only 2 notes we're adding here is a B note, a major second, and this F sharp note is our major 6. This major 6 note also is the third of our 4 chord, and it's the major third of our 4 chord. So there's that missing note that we didn't have from the pentatonic. Is this F sharp note, which is the major third of our D7 chord. I know this is a lot of notes, a lot of numbers, a lot of terminology. Stick with me. I promise you, if you know the pentatonic scale, you will be able to do this no problem. It's just 2 added notes. Okay, stick with me, I promise you. So now we know what a mode is. We know why we would use one. Let's have an example. Okay, so I'm going to play an A minor to D7 progression, and you will hear where this comes in handy. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, skid the did the do, and Okay, now I have my loop. Get a little drive. So I can use my A minor pentatonic, no problem. Your A minor blues scale. Little major minor blending. So all your pentatonic stuff works great, except for when it gets to this D7 chord, there's kind of a rub happening between some of the notes. So it's not as appropriate of a sound. So when it goes to the D7 chord, I'm going to switch from my A minor pentatonic to my A minor, my A Dorian, okay? So let's hear it again, now switching to A Dorian on the 4 chord. So here we go. 1 chord. Major 4 chord. Okay, here we go. Here we go, switch. Back to pentatonic. Dorian. Back to Dorian. Pentatonic. Dorian. Okay, so I hope you can hear how the Dorian scale works much better over our major 7 4 chord, because it tells you, I realize that this chord is different. It's not diatonic. That major 3rd, which sticks out like a sore thumb, is now not the sore thumb, it's actually the shining star. It's our flavor note. It's our colored note that makes it interesting. Basically, the whole sound of Santana, a lot of his songs, not to just shrink my guy down to just one sound, but a lot of Santana's sound is the Dorian scale. So if you like the sound of Santana and you're like, why does he sound so exotic? Why does it sound so cool? It's because of the Dorian mode and a lot of other awesome things that, if you haven't seen my Santana Licks and Tricks video, this is obviously a good time to plug it. So boop, check that out right here. But Santana uses this scale, I want to say almost exclusively. We'll call this the Santana mode, if you will. Here we go again. A minor 7 to a D7. D7. Okay, A minor, pentatonic. A minor 7, Dorian. Pentatonic. Dorian. As long as you keep landing on A notes, you're still gonna, as long as you know where your home is, know where root is. Okay, so this would be the most basic application for this. You have a minor 1 chord, and you have a major 4 chord. It doesn't have to be 7s, but it works better maybe in that harmonic flavor. Okay, so quick overview, just to touch over what we've learned here today. So the Dorian scale is a minor scale where you add 2 major notes. The major 2 and the major 6. So this is the sound of the Dorian mode. It functions very well in a minor context, where you have a major 4-chord. So there's other applications for this. Obviously, it doesn't have to be so rigid and structured, but this is just a beginner's guide, just an introductory lesson to the Dorian mode. Like I said, if you like anything Santana, you like anything kind of jazzy, spicy, a little Latin, I feel this is the mode for you. To give you some song examples, Oye Como Va, anything Santana, Samba Pati, Black Magic Woman, a lot of this stuff is all Dorian. I highly encourage you to check it out. One of my favorite songs, this is kind of a throwback, it's a song by a band Steel Train, Gypsy Waves. This is very much a Dorian jam. Highly encourage you to check that out, Steel Train. I hope I didn't get too deep in the weeds today. This is just an introductory to the Dorian mode. I hope you found it entertaining, and I will throw it to the outro and let that guy finish up over there. But thank you again for checking this out. Thank you so much for checking out the video today. If you did find it educational, entertaining, or interesting at any point, please feel free to hit like down below. I definitely encourage you to press subscribe. That definitely tells YouTube and the rest of the algorithm that you are interested in this content, and it will further push it out to other people, and it also helps me out greatly, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much for checking me out today, and we'll see you on the next one.